Hi, the film industry is absolutely huge and it has a massive influence all over the world in all kinds of different media forms. And it's all centralised, most of it anyway. I know you have places like Bollywood, but they're actually copying the American model. So really it all spawns from Hollywood, from America. Now, if you go to Los Angeles, there's a place called Century City. I'll just get up the details now. And in Century City, you have two towers called the Century Plaza Towers. And you can see them here. I'm just going to give you some information about Los Angeles and the sort of surrounding area, just in case you don't know, and about the city. So, first of all, there is a picture of these towers on Google Earth. You can see how big they are. Absolutely enormous. Right, Century City. It's a 176-acre neighborhood and business district in Los Angeles. Huge place. You can see a picture of it here. It's probably quite small now, but you can see that there. Built in 1975. Outside downtown Los Angeles, so it's right near Beverly Hills, Hollywood. It's kind of right on the junction. Century City is one of the metropolitan area's most prominent employment centres. So it employs all the new stars, and it's a massive connection with Hollywood. So it's this engine that's bringing in new talent, new people, and all kinds of connections. I won't go into the totality of it all, but it's huge. You can just imagine it's a metropolitan area buzzing with all kinds of deals and contracts and connections and budgets for films, etc., etc. Its skyscrapers form a distinctive skyline on the west side. Okay. The district was developed on the former backlot of film studio 20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox. And its first buildings was opened in 1963. There are two private schools, no public schools in the neighbourhood. Important to the economy are the Westfield Century City, shopping centre, business towers and Fox Studios. Okay, that just gives you some background there. Now, spiritually speaking, Satan, this world, has to have its economic engine. You know, Satan can't rule the world just by saying he does. There has to be mechanisms obviously in place, which is obvious, but I'm just saying it, to allow all these things to happen. This is how he does it. This is how he's doing it. This is how he's influencing the world. This is how all these parts are part of a body, part of an engine, which fuels the world with junk and all kinds of bad influences. You know what I mean. I don't need to go into it. Now, you can see how big these towers are, like I've already shown you, but if you go onto Google Earth, you'll see something very interesting. You'll see, obviously, if you look at the surrounding area, it's quite flat-ish. Obviously, there's some very big hills around Los Angeles and etc. But in terms of the buildings, if you look at the buildings, there's obviously, you do get some quite high buildings coming up in the surrounding areas. But you can see here where those buildings are. They're very prominent, like it said on that website, and they're very large. Now, I found this myself, by the way. I didn't look at any of the videos, or I was just interested in looking at Los Angeles, just seeing if I could see anything strange. One of the reasons I did that is because a lot of people have looked at Washington DC using Google Earth and found all kinds of Masonic symbolism, which you can only see when you're high up. So in these later times, these things have been revealed. God has revealed these secrets of how Satan has used the shape of buildings and the surrounding landscapes in alignment with his will and his setup. So you can see, obviously, this is how he does it. He has to have his mark on things. He has to have his symbolism, because that's his power that works through the world. He has to have objects. He has to have people working with these things. It's all spiritually based, and it allows him to have power in the world. That's why people who do witchcraft, they always use symbols and satanic things which have been given to them through demonic forces that allow them to operate. Okay, it sounds strange, but that's how the spirit realm works. It's very odd. So anyway, if we zoom into this area, so if I tilt over like this and we zoom in a bit more, you can see those huge towers there. And I was looking at these and I thought, oh yes, they're obviously they're triangular. So I thought Illuminati, something strange there. And then I went in a bit closer, and you can see there something very odd there. If you look here, there is a triangle. So there's 3 triangles. 1, 2, 3, and there's an eye in the center of that one. Now what I did is I highlighted these on the computer, using my computer in red, using red lines, just so you can see better what I mean. So if I zoom in a bit, you can see here, triangle, triangle, triangle. Quite clearly there's an eye. Quite clearly, if I go back, come in a bit, you can see eye there. Go back. And then if you go up again, you can see another eye, and it's got the pupil there in the center. You can see that. Again, go back, and then in again. You can see it. Now it's interesting that eye, which is, if you're not too up to date with symbolism, with satanic symbolism and the Illuminati, and most people are getting fairly knowledgeable these days though, but it's actually the eye of Satan, that eye, and it's also to do with the eye of Horus, which is to do with Egyptian teachings. That's why you have pyramids. It's all to do with ancient Babylon and Babylonian mystery religion, which I won't go into. But it's all satanic, and you can quite clearly see, which is very interesting, that the eye here, people drive past every day. They drive through this eye, and it's actually called Avenue of the Stars. Avenue of the Stars. And it's interesting that in ancient Egypt, they obviously looked at the stars. Their religion was about being eternal, having eternal life, and worshipping the sun and the stars. And it's interesting, in this modern age, Avenue of the Stars. So people idolize stars. Stars are used to influence people, and all the media, the entertainment media, is governed by satanic principles. And if you're not familiar with Aleister Crowley, music is to do with that. Entertainment, you can see here JR Entertainment Group, 21st Century Fox Entertainment, Century Park. It's all there. It's all there. Yeah, Aleister Crowley was a Satanist who redefined Satanism in this modern age. And I won't go into it again, it's really deep. I can do a separate video on that if you want to, but I just thought I'd show you this. So you can see here, there's a huge complex, entertainment capital of the world, the entire world, and quite clearly you can see Illuminati. It's all satanic, all satanic, built that way on purpose. Now if we go back, you can see just how big these buildings are. Now if I go to here, again you can see that they are enormous. And they're actually, the strange thing is as well is, they are built to mirror the Twin Towers. And we know how the Twin Towers fell. Now, also as well, let's remember that it's an employment centre, Fox Studios, business centre, shopping centre. It's very powerful place in Hollywood. Those towers are 44 stories high. I'll also say that underneath those towers is it looks kind of empty, that place, but there is they sit on top of one of the world's largest underground parking garages with a capacity of 5,000 cars. So a lot is going on there. It says in television the towers were the headquarters of the fictional private detective. I won't go into that because I don't want this video to be too long. But there you go. There's the towers. Now, Los Angeles, just so that you know, I'm just going to fill you in on this. It's a sprawling Southern California city and the centre of the nation's film and the world, really. Film and television industry, because it influences other industries around the world. So I'd say it's really the actual epicenter, near its iconic Hollywood sign. So that's right near the Hollywood sign, and studios such as Paramount Pictures, Universal, and Warner Brothers offer behind-the-scenes tours on Hollywood Boulevard. So it's all these places that you've heard about, those buildings which you just saw right in the centre of them. And they are shaped in that way. Okay, just so that you can see that. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how Satan controls these industries. Now, obviously, there are people in the Illuminati. There are people who do Satanism. There are people who do all kinds of odd things in these kinds of industries. A lot of them know it's wrong. A lot of them know it's evil. But let me just say one thing: the people at the top of the tree, it's Luciferianism. They think that Lucifer is the light bearer. They think that he is the one who gave enlightenment to the world. It's basically a twist on the Bible. It's trying to make out that he is good and God is bad, and it's all in Masonic doctrine. All this stuff, also as well, Aleister Crowley, and it's all there. It's all these religions are amalgamating to this viewpoint, and this is what the Antichrist is going to use. He's going to have this viewpoint that Luciferianism, as it stands, is the truth, and he will be God. The Antichrist will think he's God, and with this connection with Lucifer, in ways I'm not really too sure how it will work, but you can see it coming. You can see it building up to this. Now, Satan controls people through ignorance, and obviously he's got many demonic forces which can throw thoughts into people's minds. They can shape the world. Architects, he can give them ideas. He can give people in power ideas, and this is how he shapes the world. He uses people's ignorance and their sin to put into their heads ideas which will make them money, or which, through whatever means, to bring about his purposes. Now, if you think about it, if you think about ancient Egypt, you had, like, the king of Egypt back then. He wouldn't have known, not fundamentally, that he was being controlled by Satan, and it's the same here. people are being controlled by Satan and demonic forces. See, it's not men. If you think of the Illuminati, you think right at the top of that pyramid are men. But really, it's above that. Above them are the real controllers of all this, and they are spirits. They're evil spirits. They're the ones who are controlling all of this, really. Satan is at the top. Okay, these people are really like puppets. They're just people who are being controlled and used. Man isn't this organised. If you look at the world and you look at like for instance the symbolism that was shown in Washington DC, the way these buildings are designed, and yes, there's obviously people have done it on purpose because of their belief system, Luciferianism or whatever, but ultimately there's even more intelligence on top of that which comes from Satan. It's all been orchestrated by evil spirits, many of them, many of them, constantly working, constantly throwing these ideas into people's heads. Okay, and we're just seeing this now. Over many years later, we're seeing what has been done. Now, I wanted to show you this as well. We've all heard of the film San Andreas with Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, where obviously the San Andreas fault line split. Now, this is what I wanted to bring up. I mean, it's a fictional representation, obviously, of what could happen if the fault line went, but it's really a very real thing. I mean, some people might have gone and seen San Andreas and thought, oh, it's a film about a make believe earthquake or crack in the ground that chews the entire city up and causes total devastation. But really, it's a very real thing because it's there, and it is massive. It is a huge fault line, and God has allowed that industry, that headquarters, all those buildings, all those enterprises. He has allowed them to be there because that is going to go. That fault line will go at some point. I don't know when. I just have no idea. But you can clearly see there's Los Angeles, California, San Francisco. They're all there. They're all there. And it's right on top of that fault line. It's a bit like the same scenario happened in Pompeii, in Italy. I've been to Pompeii. I saw the entire place. I went around it, and I've seen videos on it and all kinds of. I've read all kinds of articles on it, and the people who lived there were very sinful. They were very sinful, and judgment came. And you can see here, there's a lot of sin going on there. Judgment's going to come. Okay. I also wanted to bring this up as well. You'll find that this Satanism, this Luciferianism, this witchcraft, and all this nonsense that's going on in the entertainment industry is now being brought out into daylight. God's revealing it, and not because God's revealing it. What Satan's doing is he's trying to make a joke of it. Oh, it's just a joke. So, for instance, Will Ferrell, the American comedian, a lot of people know him, picture of him there, and here you can see that. He performs a ritual of the mines with this guy to get him more ratings, and lots of people just think it's a joke, but it's not. It's actually real. Also, as well, I read articles about those two buildings in Hollywood, that whole complex, Century City complex. Those rituals have been going on there. Illuminati, satanic rituals, Luciferianism rituals to get people more power in Hollywood. And I'll just show you a clip from this.
What I've been told is this will break me down.
It's not for the faint of heart.
And you're going to be my shaman and walk me through this thing.
Shaman, if, you know,
It doesn't matter if you can't hear it
has
that
to go
well.
there.
Just if you just look at the pictures.
Can be accurately
making a joke
summed
of it.
up as not yet a man.
Now what
This
they
will
do.
make your show irresistible to viewers. It will
So
be
to make
like
your show
one of
irresistible
those
to viewers, they're covering blood on him.
Earth. A
Throw dirt on
person.
him. It's disgusting, really.
Repeat after me.
And yeah, it's
You
just a
are
joke.
nothing.
He has to repeat his nothing.
Increase the numbers. Increase.
They're saying increase the numbers, increase the number of viewers.
Increase the number. Increase the number. Nothing. Did you just throw up?
A little bit, yes. And then a large amount of snot came out of my nose.
Look into the mirror.
I love the emu. I love you, emu. Bring him to daddy.
I'll just pause it there. You can see what's going on. Now, I'll elaborate on this a bit more as well. There's a woman in Hollywood, around Hollywood, and who's called Marina Abramovic. Now, I'm not sure if you've heard of her, but what Satan's doing, like what happened there, he is using witchcraft, Satanism, just all this evil Luciferian, horrible, I don't know what to call it. I can't even think of words to describe how horrible it is. It's filth. It's just utter filth. He's using it under the guise of art. So you've got this woman here called Marina Abramovic, and she's in connection with a lot of the celebrities like Lady Gaga, and you name it. You do the googling yourself. Marina Abramovic, and I definitely advise you to look at spirit cooking, because this woman is a witch, and she is calling herself an artist. So what Satan's doing is he's using this guise of being an art in a very strange ways as an art form. He's saying this woman is an artist. She's got a certain type of art form, which is really disguised witchcraft, and she gives lots of celebrity get-togethers and shows. And she does strange things, and she has events where all these celebrities go to, and they're really odd, which I'll show you now. But if you just look at some of this spirit cooking which she does, which she calls art, if you look at this, she's just thrown. So what she's doing, she's writing on the walls in blood. Again, she says this is art, and it's not art, it's just complete witchcraft. Look what she writes. Spin around until you lose consciousness. Try to eat all the questions of the day. With a sharp knife, cut deeply into the middle finger of your left hand. Eat the pain. It's just really weird. And then you get more blood. See what she's done. This weird sort of childlike figure in the corner, just pouring blood over it. And this is allowed because it's in the name of art. See how Satan's doing it? This woman's friends with Lady Gaga and loads of other celebrities. That's real blood, by the way. And she's got all kinds of weird things. She does it around all the edges of the room, in all the corners. It's totally satanic. People think it's great. I mean, look at this. Look. She just stands there having her picture taken, being recorded, and then you can see She seems to think this is great and this is art. And she's, yeah, friends with all the stars, and they love going to her events, and I'll show you some of those events now. Look. Famous pop artist there. And they eat these cakes. This is a Ariane Abramovich event. And they're human beings, in the shape of human beings, and you actually eat all their innards, and it's just weird. Really weird. So you can see that in Hollywood, all these things are being done. They're all happening. And people, there's witchcraft, there's all kinds of horrible things going on. But everyone's smiling, and they're brushing it all over. Everyone gets lots of money, because obviously that's what they want, and they want their fame. So in the name of art, they're not bothered what it is. You can see another picture over there with goat horns for Baphomet, and it's just all so satanic. So I hope this video has helped you to realise that bit more about how satanic, dark and evil Hollywood is, and the entertainment industry as a whole. Music, films, it's all there. It's all controlled by Satan. And the key words here would be Ariane Abramovich, look her up, Spirit Cooking, Aleister Crowley, and obviously look up for Century Plaza Towers and Illuminati, and do your own research, and you'll be amazed what you'll find out. There's a lot more I could go into, but I don't want this video to be too long. Okay, thanks.